Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Callie and I talk on here about books. So, let me preface this by saying I'm aware it's not technically fall yet. However, in my mind it is. I feel it in the air, I feel it in my soul, so it's fall to me. This is going to be my fall TBR. So this TBR is going to last me from now until Thanksgiving week. Hopefully I can finish all of these. I have 10 books on this TBR, which I feel like is doable, but with school, we'll see. We'll see. If I really commit to it, I can definitely finish all of these. So, starting off strong, we have my current read. This is The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. And not to jinx it, but I think this is going to be a 5-star read. I am only 55 pages in, so who knows what could happen, but her writing style is absolutely incredible. I love it. It's very lyrical, very descriptive. You can draw similarities for sure between hers and Madeline Miller's writing styles, and I love Madeline Miller's writing, so I feel like it really comes as no surprise that I like this so much already. This book is a fantasy. It is set both in a fantasy world and the real world. So our main character, Zachary, yes, he is a student in university, and he, like I said, I'm only 50 pages in. Basically, he somehow ends up getting to the Starless Sea. And within the first 50 pages, you see glimpses of Zach and his life, and also the process that some of the guardians of the Starless Sea go through, like their initiation and stuff. Let me just read you some of the lines in here because they're so good. Let me read you, this is spoiler free, by the way, what I'm about to read. But just this whole page was so gorgeous. Paper is fragile, even when bound with string and cloth or leather. The majority of stories within the harbor on the Starless Sea are captured on paper, in books or on scrolls, or folded into paper birds and suspended from ceilings. There are stories that are more fragile still. For every tale carved in rock, there are more inscribed on autumn leaves or woven into spider webs. There are stories wrapped in silk so their pages do not fall to dust, and stories that have already succumbed, fragments collected and kept in urns. There are fragile things, less sturdy than their cousins, who are told out loud and learned by heart. And there are always those who would watch Alexandria burn. There always have been, there always will be. So there are the guardians. Many have given their lives in service. More have had their lives taken by time before they could lose them in other fashions. It is rare for a guardian not to remain a guardian always. To be a guardian is to be trusted. To be trusted, all must be tested. Guardian testing is a long and arduous process. One cannot volunteer to be a guardian. Guardians are chosen. So, the whole book, something about her writing. Yeah, so hopefully I'm taking my time with this because I want to enjoy reading it and the process. So that is the first book on my TBR. Next up, these aren't going to be in any particular order. I've tried to put genres together, but I have 2 young adult books on this list, so I am going to list those now. They're both the first books in a series. First up, we have Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. This is a dark academia murder mystery set in a private school in Vermont. I did start this a few years ago and I just never finished it. Couldn't tell you why. The vibes were immaculate, so I am very excited to go back into this. Next up, this is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. She wrote The Inheritance Games, which I have read the first book of. Her writing was okay. I didn't think it was anything crazy. I definitely think that series is overhyped, but that is for another video. This is about a group of teenagers with special abilities that are in the FBI. This is essentially a young adult Criminal Minds, from what I know. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. But I'm very excited to get into this as well. I love Criminal Minds. It is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. So, next up, this is an adult romance. This is Never by Jessa Hastings. This might be an unpopular opinion, but I love this cover. Look at the clouds, how pretty. This is a Peter Pan retelling, from what I know. I like to go into books kind of blind, but Jessa Hastings wrote the Magnolia Parks and Daisy Hate series. I've read the first book in Magnolia Parks, and I did enjoy her writing style, which is why I'm curious to see what this is. Obviously, Magnolia Parks is not a romance, so I'm excited to see what her actual romance retelling holds. Next up, we have Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I have read probably 75% of this for class 2 years ago. I remember I loved it, but I just never finished it. When it comes to reading books for class, usually I just don't read them. I don't like being told what to read. That's why I usually don't stick to TBRs that well. And that is why I have such a wide array of books on my fall TBR. But for obvious reasons, I will be reading Frankenstein by Mary Shelley as long as I get to it. But I'm sure you all know Frankenstein. The monster is not called Frankenstein. I'm sorry. I feel like I have to throw this out there because I work at Barnes & Noble. We sell little Frankenstein cookies there. Not Frankenstein cookies. Frankenstein's monster cookies. And everyone's like, oh, a Frankenstein cookie. No. It is Frankenstein's creation, his monster. Anyways, I already highly recommend this to all of you to go read it. I will also do like a wrap up at the end of the fall, Thanksgiving week, hopefully, of the books that I did complete off of this TBR. Next up, these two books are by the same author, but starting off, we have All's Well by Mona Awad. This is about a woman who suffers from chronic pain. As far as I know, it also touches on topics such like menstruation and stuff, like how women deal with that, all of that fun stuff. I've read Bunny by Mona Awad, and I absolutely recommend that you go read that this fall. Such a good book, especially if you like more psychological books. She has a lot of good metaphors in her writing. Just go read it. But she is an actress, and she wants to put on a production of All's Well That Ends Well by Shakespeare when she faces a mutinous cast bent on staging Macbeth instead. So, very excited to read this. The next book I have is also by Mona Awad, as I said. This is Rogue. This book, all I know about it is that it touches on themes of beauty standards. So, obviously, I feel like this will be very good. Next up, let me fix this so my vinyls don't fall. Okay, next up we have a duology by Leigh Bardugo. This is Ninth House and Hellbent. These books are paranormal, dark academia-esque books. Don't know the exact genre that they would go into. Maybe like paranormal, I guess. I did start Ninth House last year and I just couldn't get into. I wasn't in the mood for it. Let me put it that way, because it starts off in a very interesting way. These are set at Yale. Yes, these are set at Yale University. So, perfect dark academia vibes. Next up, we have another dark academia book. This I feel like is a classic of dark academia, and I have not read it. But this is going to be The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Maybe this will be the year. Who knows? Last year I read, maybe it was the year before, If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio, and absolutely loved it. I highly recommend that if you haven't read it. but I've heard that this, as well as If We Were Villains, are very similar, which I feel like, there's the cover up close if you wanted to see. I feel like, and look how floppy. Okay, can I actually let myself get a sentence out? To a degree, all dark academia books are going to revolve around the same things, such as class, education, you know, all of that jazz. But I eat it up every time. I also have, if I finish all of these 10 books whilst in the middle of all of my college classes, I would love to read A Certain Hunger. Summers, I think is the author. Don't quote me. But this is my fall TBR. Let me try and pick them up for you guys. Hopefully I get all of these read. I am in such a huge reading mood, so I'm very excited to hopefully read all of these. Thank you so much for watching. I will try to film some videos, but it's pretty busy right now for me. Just being in the midst of the second week of class and all of that, I just have a lot of assignments. But as I said, hopefully I will be able to get some little things filmed here and there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again soon. Make sure to like and subscribe. Have a good fall.